Hello, this is Professor Dina Pollard-Sacks, and today I'm speaking with Lucille O'Neal, mother of basketball star Shaquille O'Neal, and Lorrie Wolfe, who was recently named America's Most Inspirational Mom by Boys and Girls Club of America. Both women are here to share their experiences as mothers and discuss how they manage to keep their families strong in the face of some of life's most difficult obstacles. Lucille, I would like to start with you.
Okay.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 adult children now.
Wow, and as we all know, one of your children is the very famous NBA star, Shaquille O'Neal. So I have to ask you one question about Shaquille. How old was he when you realized that he was headed for stardom?
You know, it took me a while to even think about stardom because I was only concerned about clothing him at that particular time. But I watched him play his first game on national television, the McDonald's All-American game, and I knew that there were possibilities after that game.
Wow, that's amazing. And so when you say you were just trying to clothe him, you were a single mom then for some time?
Well, at that particular time I was married, but when Shaquille was born, I was 17 years old, fresh out of high school, and I stayed a single mom until I married Mr. Philip Harrison when Shaquille was about 3.
Wow, and you've encountered a number of difficult obstacles along your journey as a mother. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the difficulties that you have encountered?
Well, what we call now being in a period with low self-esteem, that was an obstacle. Being a single unwed mother, that was an obstacle because it was a sin in my house. But I had a bout with alcoholism and depression, but I had to overcome those things in order to be a better mother to my children. It was hard, but I did everything I could to try to stay encouraged. I learned how to encourage myself, and I'm grateful for the place that I am in my life right now. It's been a blessing.
Well, I commend you for how you've managed to handle all these things. And Lorrie, you also have had some difficult life obstacles along the way as a mother. Can you tell us about some of those obstacles that you've encountered?
Yes, ma'am. Well, 7 years ago, I left with 3 small children. I left behind a life of domestic violence where there was extreme drug abuse and alcohol abuse. My children were very small at the time, and I found myself dealing with how do I keep a roof over our head, how do I pay for groceries, electricity to keep the power on, and just school supply. We'd be here all day if I named all the challenges that we faced after that.
Wow, and you also have a special needs child, is that right?
I do. He's my blessing. My oldest son has Asperger's syndrome.
Wow, so now can you tell us how were you able to get past these obstacles, Lorrie?
My faith, a lot of praying, and looking into the faces of my children and knowing that I wanted my kids. I had a phenomenal childhood when I was little. My mom and dad were such a blessing, and I wanted that for my own kids. And just because my kids weren't in the same circumstances, I was determined that I didn't care how much sleep I didn't get, how much sweat I had to put in, going to work. I was going to make sure that my kids had as wonderful a childhood, if not better, than I did.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucille, can you answer the same question? How were you able to get past all of these obstacles? Because we may have mothers out there today listening to the show who need advice. So what would you say in terms of how you got past your obstacles and what advice you might give to some mothers out there who may be facing some of the same obstacles?
I believe that being mothers, we're put on an assignment by God, and it's up to us to see that we do the best for our children. And if you're a parent, you know that it doesn't come with an instruction booklet. However, you have to learn how to encourage yourself. You have to learn how to lead by example because your children are watching you. And it's up to us to care for them. We have to make sacrifices in order for them to have a better life. So if you love your children, it's not hard. The decision is not hard. You do what you can in order for them to have a better life. I call it a quality life.
Yes, and you mentioned substance abuse, and I know that I've read the papers. There's a lot of substance abuse out there, both prescription drugs and legal drugs and illegal drugs, and a lot of moms are dealing with that now. What can you tell moms out there who may be struggling with substance abuse in terms of how you got past it? What's the first step they might take?
You have to first want to get out of that situation that you're in, and it takes prayer. It takes a lot of understanding where you are in your life, but more importantly, you have to want to do better for yourself. substance abuse is, it's easy to fall into that and mask the problems and mask the worries, but they don't go away. They don't go away overnight, so it takes time. But I encourage all mothers today to really dig deep down into themselves and drum up some courage and drum up some determination and just take a day at a time and look into the faces of your children, and you see the love and you see the laughter, and know that you're doing the best that you can for all of them.
Well, it sounds like perseverance is the key.
Yes, it
is.
is.
Now, Lori, you were just named America's Most Inspirational Mom. First, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to ask you, what does that mean to you?
It means that all of my dreams are about to come true, and it means that the possibilities are endless, that I can make dreams happen for my kids.
Well, that is very inspirational, and your story is also very inspirational. And Lucille, you're also involved with Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and can you explain what your involvement is in that regard?
Well, right now I've been working with the Boys and Girls Club and Kimberly-Clark organization, and we were a part of the search for the inspirational mom. So I'm happy to be a part of the positive things that the Boys and Girls Club are doing, because I've been having a long-time relationship with them since I was a little girl. And Liza, I believe we have time for just one more question.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and direct this to Lucille. I understand that you completed a college degree in your 40s, and I'm just wondering what prompted you to go back to college after raising your children?
What prompted me was the fact that I had a dream of going to college, and I never let that dream die. My children were all grown up by the time I was in my 40s, so the opportunity presented itself. My oldest son was gracious enough to make an investment in me and pay for my college education, and he promised me as long as I kept my grades up that he would continue to pay my tuition. He made an investment in me after me making an investment in him, and it worked out so beautiful for us, and I am so honored today to be able to call him doctor.
Well, it has been truly inspirational and an honor to speak to both of you. This is Dina Pollard-Sacks. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dina.